What is going on, Notre Dame fans? Mike Singer, Tyler Horka with news of a commitment for the Fighting Irish, and this one in the transfer portal ranks. Rhode Island safety Antonio Carter, a graduate transfer, um, announcing his pledge to the Irish. We're bringing on Tyler Horka to discuss the news. So, folks, if you are wondering, man, we're going into Rhode Island's roster and landing players, maybe that's not so good. Well, Tyler, if we look at his offer list, as a transfer portal player, Virginia, Kentucky, Baylor, Louisville, SMU, West Virginia, Virginia Tech, Minnesota, A&M, Georgia Tech, Oregon State, Indiana, Wisconsin, and here's where we'll start to get really good here. Washington, Ole Miss, Notre Dame, Florida, LSU. So he visited Notre Dame midweek and then announced his commitment. He was going to visit at Florida and LSU this weekend, and then went ahead and committed to Notre Dame without taking those trips. So, Tyler, initial thoughts on this news?
Yeah, it's big for Notre Dame, obviously, because if you look at the scholarship chart, Notre Dame doesn't have a whole lot going on at the safety position. You have DJ Brown, but he's kind of one of those players that you know what he is, who he is. He's going to make some tackles. He's going to miss some tackles. He's going to make some plays. He's going to miss some plays. And you have Ramon Henderson, Xavier Watts, two guys who all of a sudden are already seniors, and you're looking up like, whoa, do we know what we have in those guys already too? So for Notre Dame's perspective, you're adding a guy with experience. You watch this tape. I mean, he's a playmaker, a guy who obviously hasn't played at the FBS level, but I mean, this is still more than Ben Minnick or Don Schuler, two guys who got hurt in the spring, mind you, have ever done at any college level. So it's experience. It's a guy that comes in and gives you depth. I mean, that's the buzzword this time of year. How deep are you at every position? And then I also think it's interesting from the offer list perspective that you shared, Mike. He told On3's Matt Zenitz that Florida, I mean, this is an Orlando kid, is his dream school. And he's going out and visiting Notre Dame, seeing South Bend for 1 day, 2 days, whatever it was, and saying, no, I don't need to go down to Gainesville and go through the whole dog and pony show, whatever you want to call it. I want to go to Notre Dame, and I'm going to, play for Notre Dame. So I think all of those things make it a pretty interesting and mutually beneficial commitment for both parties.
And pretty versatile too, like corner. He's playing corner all in this tape that we're watching that he tweeted out when he entered the portal, a couple weeks ago. So yeah, brings that versatility as well. Again, graduate transfer. So he's got his degree from Rhode Island, and this is the ideal thing: 2 years of
Yeah.
eligibility. So he's not just a 1 year rental; can play that second year. And Tyler, you were able to interview him. Just anything stand out from that interview, and just about him as a person?
Yeah, pretty cool kid. I think he actually, I asked him, who is Notre Dame getting in Antonio Carter? And he went through the football stuff. And that was one word that he used. Mike was versatile. And we're seeing that playing corner, playing safety, doing all of these different things. If you look at his statistics, 17 pass breakups in the last 2 seasons stands out to me. Notre Dame only had 24 as a team last season, and that ranked 129th in the FBS, only ahead of one school, tied for 129th. So he said versatile, and then the other word that I was getting back around to was cool. I think he's a cool guy. One cool moment in my interview with him was I'm chatting with him for about 5 minutes, and then a Notre Dame staffer kind of pulls him to the side and jumps on the phone with me and says, "Hey, Tyler, give him a minute. He's going to go meet Nana Osafo-Mensah right now." And he's gone for like a minute. And then he came back with like a more audibly chipper tone, and he was happy. So I think Notre Dame is getting a guy that fits in the locker room already. I mean, he was telling me about the relationships that he already has with Marcus Freeman, Al Golden, Chris O'Leary. So if you look at the timeline of this, Notre Dame kind of came in early May. I think they offered him on May 5th, which was a Friday. And then you mentioned, Mike, he's visiting South Bend midweek, which is a Wednesday. So in a span of like 4 or 5 days, less than a week, he's already got relationships with all these coaches, all of these players. I think he's fitting right in. And back to your point, Mike, for this guy to have 2 years of eligibility, that's huge. He comes in right away and is a good fit, and Notre Dame could possibly use him for 2 years.
Let's take a look at some of these accolades. Started
Yep.
all 11 games as a redshirt sophomore last year. 60 tackles, 4.5 of those for loss, a sack, a pick, 10 pass breakups. Played a ton as a redshirt freshman in 2021. 10 starts, 52 sacks, or excuse, 52 tackles, one sack. Several pass breakups. And yeah, so I mean, you're talking about a 2-year starter again at the FCS level, but yeah, you look at the offer. I mean, look who was going after him. I don't transfer
Yeah.
portal rankings are still in their infancy stages, but I mean, he was quite the hot commodity. So yeah, before we wrap up, Tyler, I want to look at the scholarship chart. Now we haven't when we're recording this video, he has not announced yet. That's usually how these things go.
Mhm.
So we don't have him listed in the safety depth chart just yet, or the safety scholarship chart just yet. But he will give Notre Dame 7. Adon Schuler, Ben Minnick, guys who, Minnick, I can't remember the exact timeline, but Minnick was hurt during spring or before, but
And then Adon was before the spring.
so yeah, those young guys recovering from some injuries, and then yeah, you got the upperclassman DJ Brown. You mentioned him? We kind of know what he is at this point. It's gonna be a solid depth piece. Can start for you, but not going to be an impact player, but definitely a serviceable guy that you want to have on your roster. Thomas Harper, another versatile player, and then Xavier Watson, Ramon Henderson, who you're kind of looking for that big impact season from one or both of those guys, and then yeah, Harper, Oklahoma State grad transfer that Notre Dame brought in. Don't remember reports about him this spring. Was he injured? And I just not remembering that.
Yeah, he had shoulder surgery probably December or January, so he didn't do much in the spring. But with Harper, what I think this does, it allows him to play more of that nickel role, and that was being talked about a lot in the spring. We didn't get to see it because of that injury, but when you bring in Carter, you kind of slide him back into like a full-time safety role, and then you let Harper play a lot of that nickel, and then that allows Clarence Lewis to slide back outside and be a backup to Cam Hart, Benjamin Morrison. So just from a depth perspective, adding this one piece changes a whole lot for the Notre Dame defense.
Yeah, definitely a nice pickup here again, folks. Rhode Island safety transfer Antonio Carter. He's from the Orlando, Florida area. Committing to Notre Dame over Florida, the dream school for him. So again, for multiple aspects, really like this pickup for the Fighting Irish. Folks, please do hit that thumbs up on this video. Subscribe to our channel if you have not done so yet. And as always, we will catch you next time.